Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly Vega Fairground Testnet Jam. My name is Daigan. I'm a community manager at Vega, and you probably see me here and there around our Discord, our Telegram, and various other places in the Vega community. Also, probably for the Vega Fun competition that we currently have ongoing. But let's get back to the Fairground Jam. This is an ongoing series. It takes place usually on every Thursday at 6 p.m. UTC+1 or British Summertime. And this week we moved it to the Friday due to scheduling issues, but here we are at 6 p.m. So I hope you guys had a lovely week. And each week we tend to take a deep dive into a different aspect of the Vega protocol with a member of the Vega team or a special guest. And then we will follow up with an open Zoom room so that any keen attendees may have a chat with the team and follow up with some of the themes covered. This week we are going for a slightly different theme. We're switching it on its head. And this is why I have Arne here with me, our new community lead, and the focus will be on myself. So I guess I will do the housekeeping and then I'll hand over to Arne. So while I'm speaking or he's speaking, feel free to ask any questions that come to mind in the Twitch chat, and I'll answer them at the end of the call or throughout. And then about 5 minutes before the end of the session, we'll post the Zoom link in the Twitch chat and you can come along and hang out with us in the Zoom room afterwards. So over to you, Arne, and I guess I'll get ready for the questions.
Yeah, as you explained brilliantly today, we put it on a Friday because it must be prime time. And today is about you, probably one of the most known faces of Vega. I think when I joined Vega and we're looking around for content, there's like no way around your name. So it's basically on the blogs, on in all the YouTube videos, you're everywhere. And therefore I think it's super important that I and also like the community gets to know you better. So how did you end up with crypto? What's your story that brought you like your interest to crypto?
And sure. Yeah, so it's a bit of a long story, odd story, but I think around 2012, I first heard of Bitcoin, and I had no idea what blockchain was or cryptocurrencies were. I just saw Bitcoin on the internet. I was always a bit of a tech nerd, so I was going deeper around the internet, and I must have found it somewhere. I'm not sure how or why. And I was quite curious, so I downloaded the Bitcoin blockchain or a wallet software or something where you could try and mine yourself. And then I think I was trying to mine on my mum's computer, but it wouldn't work, and I had no idea what I was doing or what mining was. I got a bit frustrated and I uninstalled it, and then I didn't look at it again. So I didn't actually get any Bitcoin or anything at that time. I was just trying to mine, and I was like for a day or two, and then I was like, okay, I can't do this. So then I think 2016, 2017, I saw Bitcoin again somewhere, and I was quite interested. I was wondering why this thing had come back, because it'd been so many years since I'd last looked at it, and I was like, there must be a reason that this is now people are interested in this again. The price was obviously quite a lot higher at that point, and this was right before the 2017 boom, the mid to late 2017 boom in like crypto industry. And I spent that summer, or like those months after I found Bitcoin, just researching, learning. I was watching YouTube videos, I was reading books, I was going on Twitter, I was learning from all the different angles. And then I realized there's so many other cryptocurrencies as well as Bitcoin, and I got really deep into Ethereum. I was looking at, like, I don't know, all the other random coins that don't exist anymore. Some still do. There was Litecoin, there was Ant Shares, which became Neo, VeChain, and so many other different projects. I got really interested. Then everything started exploding, and everyone got really interested in the industry. And I think that was just like a euphoric peak. And during that time, while I was interested, I was studying at university. So I was at the LSE, and I came back to university and I said, I have to start the blockchain club, because we didn't have a blockchain society. There was no way of getting people that were similarly interested in this new technology together. So I came back, tried to start the club. I found some other guys that had already had the same idea, and they all wanted to make the club, so they made it, and I joined them. And then I was working with them for many months to years now. And we formed this thing called London Blockchain Labs. And sorry if this is a long story, but it's a very long story in how I got there. And then London Blockchain Labs became the UK's largest student-led blockchain organization. It was full of volunteers and students, and we were started off like 10 people. And then now the committee is like 40 or so, and as well as the network of people that we interact with. And we do like events, getting speakers in the blockchain space, education, doing introductions, giving lectures. We even went to Gibraltar at one point, I think, doing like blockchain masterclasses. We had like a markets team, a labs team, like doing hackathons. And so basically anything in the blockchain space, anything that people were interested in, we were like the gateway for people to come into this group and learn a bit more about what's going on. And that's continued to this day. And at this point, I'm still advising it. And at some point while I was doing that, I'm running conferences, I ran into Vega. I found them at one of these events and I was helping out organize. And then the rest is kind of history. But that's how I got into blockchain and then what I did following my involvement.
Super cool. So yeah, you basically jumped on it in 2016 and 17, even like kind of organized, community-driven way straight away. So you felt like, okay, I need to get other people around this topic to learn more, to be better connected. That's a very cool story. And yeah, I think a lot of people that we are nowadays talking to, they're all basically started with crypto in 2016, 2017. So I think it's very funny that also, like I explained it last time, I think a lot of people have like this first contact in 2011, 2013, and then people didn't really get into it or were unsure. But then when they heard it like in 2016 to 17 again, and there was like the bull run, the wave, a lot of people then finally got in. Like this seems like a psychological pattern that first you need to hear it, but you're not convinced. But when you then years later hear again about it, then yeah, people jump into it. And
exactly, like it's very rare that something comes back twice within like 5-10 years.
Then you feel
there
like,
must be a reason.
I know that. And then it feels less familiar, less scary, and I don't know. Then you're ready to jump into it. Okay, and so how did this then happen with Vega? So who do you met, and how did they get you into the project? And what did you like about Vega? I mean, like in 2016, 17, I think this was also the time where at one point you're really fed up about everyone who contacts you about the crypto project, because there have been so many scammy ICOs. Like I remember that at one point when people write me on Skype about the crypto project, I felt like I don't even want to look at it, because there was also like the bullshit peak.
Yeah, I completely. That's similar to my experience. So during those times, I think 2018 was like the real bear market, and 2019 as well, where everything was going down, very slow burn downwards. And I was working with a few different projects, and a lot of them ended up blowing up and not turning into much. But there were some real good gems in the space as well, and some big names that were still really big today that we were working quite closely with. And so this was actually, I found Vega, I think 2018, and that was when like I think the company started shortly before I found them, sometime before. I was at this conference called DeFi London at Imperial College, and it was before the DeFi summer, I think, and before like DeFi became such a big thing. It might have been 2019, I'm not sure, but it was before the pandemic, at least a year or so before that. I was there, I was helping out. I think there was people from Coinbase and various other different crypto companies, and then I saw these people with really bright yellow hoodies, and they were the Vega team. And I thought these guys look quite interesting. And there was someone on the team, I think I met Barney, it might have been Klaus, and Christina as well, who used to be here and now is running one of the nodes. I just ended up speaking to their team. They had quite cool colors. I was interested in derivatives. I wasn't like, I don't know, super into that side of the industry, but I was interested in what they were doing. I knew a lot about spot decentralized exchanges, and I had no idea that I knew derivative decentralization was like the next thing to come after that point. But I knew it was quite difficult and no one had attempted it before. So I always thought that they had a really broad, a really big dream kind of vision, and they had a strong team of people that seemed quite enthusiastic about it. But I must say I didn't quite understand so much of what they were doing back then. I was just kind of new to the whole decentralized derivative space, but I kept in touch with the team. I actually helped. I was making conferences and running big events myself, and so I asked the Vega team to come and speak at some of them. And then through trying to organize these events and getting them to speak with us at London Blockchain Labs, I formed a closer relationship with their community team. And basically, a lot of the stuff we do in community was a lot of the community building I was doing for free for many, many years over in London Blockchain. And so it was, yeah, I was very much looking at more traditional industries for quite a long time. And I realized that I'm very deep in the blockchain space. I have a real interest in it. Why not try and work in this space? So I think I ran a few conferences with Vega, and I'd just been doing a lot of planning and catching up with their team. And I was like, hey, can I work with you guys? Why not? And just get some experience from inside the industry to see if it's actually what I'm interested in. And I found I was very interested in it, and it ended up staying there for a lot longer after I was just, I think I spent one summer with them, and then I've been there ever since. I never left. So yeah, that's kind of how I found Vega. I found them at a conference, I kept in touch, I got them to speak at a few of different events I was doing, and then I ended up working with them, and they liked me, I liked them, and we ended up staying for a very long time.
So we need to figure out who to thank for the yellow hoodies, because they were in the end the reason.
Yeah, I think we should open a merch store. We really should get Vega merch out and give these bright yellow hoodies around to everyone. I actually think
and then you
I have one here.
Oh yeah, it's still the same one?
Yeah, the bright hoodies. This is a different one, but we need to get these out to more people in the community. I think we definitely should have Vega merch.
No, yeah, the entrance point to Vega was where the yellow hoodies. That's a super cool story, and also I like that it then basically grow organically. So you started doing more and more with Vega. You got more and more in touch with them, and then you liked them more and more. So you basically, the relationship was building. That's super cool.
Yeah, I must say that when I was like, the reason that, because I could have gone with, there were lots of different companies I was working with and lots of people that were quite cool in the industry. And instead of going with one of the more established and bigger firms, I liked that Vega had such a big goal, and they really had such a complex project, but they all had a lot of relevant experience from different places in the industry. And they seemed like they knew what they were doing and that they could do it. It was a big goal, and hence we've had delays and had various issues along the way. But the progress I'd seen with their team and their project over the years has just kept me involved and engaged. And they've really gone from a small thing with a great idea and the right people to a much bigger, better known project. And I think this is just the beginning. So yeah, when I left, it was when I was finishing studies, it was either I start my own thing, I'll continue with growing London Blockchain Labs, or doing something of my own, or working with an all-star team. And I felt like Vega was a great team of people that were really motivated and wanted to get stuff done, and they would put all their efforts into doing that. So I stuck around.
Very, very cool story. Okay, I think in your case, maybe less critical. I mean, for me, when I decided to play poker, there was obviously a little bit of backslash from friends, family and stuff. Was it similar to you with your peer group, your friends, your family, when you said I'm doing crypto and I'm super into crypto, or was it so well established and everyone is open-minded about it? I think it's less critical than when you say hey, I want to play cards on the internet. That's probably less critical. But how was it? How did your friends? Because I think it's still you're kind of like an outlier, right? So the others followed a different path, and blockchain is still less established for the people that are also studying, and they probably look more for classical career paths and stuff. So how did this go?
Yeah, you're completely right there. So we're not playing with coins or cards on the internet. It's like magic coins on the internet. I guess blockchain is a weird concept.
To that.
Yeah. And I remember like, because in 2018, 2019, maybe 2020 as well, it was, there's like blockchain industry didn't look very good, and people weren't so interested in what was going on, what people were building. And I still retained my interest, but at that time, at least the university I went to, in the place, my peer group, everyone was applying to more traditional industries, mostly consulting, finance, investment banking, and these, I don't know, these big corporate careers. And initially I was doing this like similar kind of thing, and I was interning in a few of those companies, but I just wasn't that interested. It was interesting. I'm always interested. I've always been interested in economics and how financial systems work, but I was always a bit of a tech nerd, and blockchain was like the intersection between finance, economics, tech, philosophy, so many other things. And so I realized this is what I'm interested in. I'm also quite young, so I can take a risk. And if it doesn't work out, then I can go and do something else. But like, because I have the passion there and I have the genuine interest, and I was learning about it and teaching people about it for free for so long, I knew I might as well dive deep into that and follow it than to, than to do what everyone else is doing and just regret it for ages, because I don't know, I'm wasting an opportunity and I'm bored and I don't like what I'm doing.
And the people
And I'm
around
glad
you,
I did.
the people around you, they were supportive of this?
Yeah,
Or you
like
also
my
got like,
my family don't care. Like they say, do what you want to do. And they knew that I would be fine. I've always kind of been like independent and driving my own things. And then my friends just thought, like friends thought some thought it was a bit silly. Like they definitely didn't have as much respect for what I was doing as they do now, because now everyone's interested in this industry. Whereas before it was like I don't know, it's just the opportunity cost was there. Why would you go deep into crypto, blockchain, centralized finance? And now there's a lot more to this industry. There's like NFTs, there's DAOs, there's NFT gaming, there's the DeFi 2.0 people are talking about, and so much more to it. And there's a real big community. I'm actually in Lisbon this week for ETH Lisbon and LisCon. And
awesome.
the community is massive. The amount of people here and the amount of interest in the space. We've just hit all-time highs this week for a lot of different assets. So there's a lot of genuine interest now. And it's really, the narrative around everything has changed.
Yeah.
So I have no regrets.
No, that sounds like cool. And also I think your friends are there quite, then in the end they understand. I mean, obviously, like when you make like this decision, you go into crypto, they might feel like a little bit offended because they work so hard, like, and think like this is the right way, and we study exactly this to go down this path and become an investment banker and a consultant, and this is how you make money in London. And then like someone is doing something else, so like it's a little bit for them as you're questioning, are we actually doing the right thing here? So like I think from this point of view, you probably got like some backslash.
But I mean, I think we work really, really hard in this industry.
Yeah.
I at least I think I work fairly hard. But you have to think for yourself. Like sometimes doing what everyone else is doing isn't the best thing, and it's those high conviction like in this space and for what is actually possible that's ended up paying off in the end. And over the years, I had to learn to like kind of trust in my own judgment and the way I see things and the way I see like society at large, I think, rather than listening to what everyone else does, because I don't know, you'll get bored doing that. And I don't know, if you follow the most crowded things that everyone else is trying to do, it just, the conditions are worse for everyone because everyone's fighting and competing and jumping over each other. But if you do what you like doing, as long as it's still rewarding to you, and I think the upside is better there, both for like, I think you get the point.
No, I think like we are like in a way lucky. I mean, now with crypto, but I was also lucky with poker in a way that you have something where you have passion that actually also makes money, and like there's at least like a real chance to make something out of it. I mean, there's other hobbies or passions where like the chances are really low. But if you like have the chance and you are young, where you actually have not much risks, no family to feed or like little dependencies and stuff, then I totally agree with you. Then you always learn, you always do something, even if things don't work out. Life is not over, and instead like you build up experience and become like a more interesting person. So I'm really happy that you did what you did, and so we are here now. You talked about the crypto community. That's of course like a very interesting space, and we are both also like working in the community management. What do you think you like the most about the crypto community, and how do you see like all the dangers and how to handle them? Like there's a lot of scammers, imposters, and like other stuff. So how do you see like the good side, and what's your philosophy to deal like with the bad side, and your view on these things?
Good question. I really like the genuine interest from some people. Like they come along, there isn't always an incentive. Often there is, but sometimes there is not, or sometimes people are just curious in what we're building and what we're making. And I like the fact that the team are constantly building things that haven't been built the way they have before, and just being exposed to all of that. I think the community come as well to see what's going on internally and to see the progress the team are making towards making these tools that the community eventually will be able to use and test. And I think interacting with people that are similarly interested and share that like kind of passion for what we're doing, and also just being in the industry, because it's a lot of different projects are adjacent, they're similar in how they're structured, and finding groups of people that are all interested in this kind of thing is really quite rewarding. And yeah, it's interacting with the community and talking to those people and finding those really interested gems is something I quite enjoy. With the scammers and the bad, I guess there are lots of like best practices or some things you should do. Like I don't know. I always have to think about that. So like whenever we're doing a thing for the community, like if we're designing incentives, which you do a lot of, or we're thinking of competitions or thinking of ways to distill information to the community, we always have to think in what way can the system be gamed, and how would people either try to get more than they should, or scam other people using the information that we're asking for by imitating us or impersonating the things we're doing. And yeah, that's just something we really have to think quite closely through. And it's a bit of a push and pull process, because whatever you do, someone will try and game it. And so you have to just think, what is the least worst thing we can do that will allow us to achieve the goal of helping or giving things out to the community or teaching people stuff, whilst limiting the amount of people that could manipulate it for their own ends. But yeah, I mean, being in the community, like I've set up some really robust moderation systems with the Discord, with Telegram. We've got a whole team that work really well. And there's a lot of, you just got to build up trust between different community members so that other people also in the community start helping you and doing what they can to also support the project and pushing out the negative or people or scammers or bots that bring bad energy into the project.
I just need to also say that I have exactly the same experience. What I think is really amazing about crypto, to go to the good part again, the openness of people, and also like the people from other projects, because everything is so early that people don't see each other really as competitors, but rather like as collaborators. And I remember this like from poker in 2007 to 2009. There was so much fish, that's how we called the bad players, and people were collaborating, like we're sharing strategies in open forums, and we're really nice with each other. And then once the market got harder and there was less money to make, then people started to keep their knowledge on their own. And also like when you work in a company that is not crypto, then it gets super extreme when you're like in a competitive business, where even like when you quit your job or like you have like a clause in your leaving conditions that you cannot like join a competitor and transfer knowledge from your company to another company. So basically there's like zero friendliness between people that basically do the same thing. And this, I think, is like really a huge difference in crypto, where like everyone is just, as you said, openly interested with don't feel they want to make money out of you, or they're just interested what you are doing. They talk about it, they talk about their projects, they think about their ideas, what they hear, but you don't have like these constant background feeling that the person tries to make money out of you or tries to lure you into like a deal, or later comes with like, here, do this, and here you can invest in da da da. But it's really like genuinely interested people, and I think that's really amazing about crypto. And this is for me like one of the most beautiful things that we are like in the community team to have this. And on the bad people, I agree with you. Like, yeah, that it teaches us in, how's it called, adversarial thinking, so that you need to think about all the exploit angles that are there, and the trolls and the bad people in the bit, they're like a bit that immune system for the internet. So you need to make sure that things really work. And I'm also with you that I think moderation, like in most closed communities, is important, because like in the end, you want people gather around like the same intentions. And a lot of people that say like, no, moderation is just evil, and everything needs to be free speech, and there should be no moderation at all. Then you end up like with too much chaos, and there's like not enough alignment so that like good things can really happen. And instead, like trolls eating each other, getting attention, the good people, you don't see them. So like I see it as you, like in specialized communities, they have like intention, and then yeah, like good moderation is important, which doesn't mean like that you don't want any criticism. Of course, this is completely fine, and people should discuss and speak their mind. But if someone has obviously bad intentions, then why have someone like this in the community? Like if the intention is just scam or hurting the project, or just like hating other people.
Yeah, I completely agree with most of the things you said. You I don't know, if sometimes you need to take a heavy-handed approach, but you need to be a bit more harsh to make sure that you're actually cultivating the community that is beneficial for the most people who are involved in the project. And I think I've learned that definitely over the time that I've been working in this role. And also, you need to set a lot of the standards and the rules in advance. So if everything is set up in a way that people accept and agree to it, and they buy into the community and they feel like they're part of it, then them disagreeing, them breaking those things, is them harming everyone else. And yeah, you want to cultivate a good community. With Vega, that's a challenge at times, but it's something that we are rising to the occasion too. And I'm sure things will keep improving and getting better as we do have more and more initiatives and more progress happens with the project. But it's really, it's cool to follow, and the growth is interesting.
Mainnet is launched then.
Yeah, when once you launch mainnet, you'll get people complaining about something else, and there'll be something else that everyone will be mad about. But yeah, I do think we do need to get to a place where we've shipped the product and it's there. And then from there, like, we keep building and we keep making. But yeah, it's a slow process.
I see. Usually this is 20 minutes, right? So we are approaching the end of this podcast, or do you have a few more minutes?
We have some time, but yeah, usually they're about half an hour or so.
So now I want to create a reason for you to look at this video in 20 years again. And my question is the following. So I think now we all like have spent a lot of time seeing, so as I see it, blockchain and like removing the middleman and some kind of transactions or deals is obviously like a great breakthrough, but there's not really clear how this technology will use like in 20 years to affect the life of millions of people. So I think like most of my people that have nothing to do with crypto, they don't use it or affected by it at all at the moment. I mean, these people getting less because more and more just want to buy and to get rich with crypto. So like after I left my job, I get all the time these chill some coins to me, what should I buy? Like there's a lot of people that are just interested in the investment part point of view for coins. But what do you think like in 20 years could be use cases how blockchain really changes the world? Not specifically to Vega, but maybe for Vega as well. So what do you think when you look back in 20 years? Sounds smart. When you say
is a lot of pressure, so I've got to hedge myself and say I mean, there's a chance that everything goes down to nothing and all the token economic designs are just broken, and people actually didn't realize that we can't financially incentivize everything, all these different kinds of communities, and get them all working in a decentralized way. I don't think that's the case, but that's like some people actually do have that opinion. I think in 20 years, there's so many different things that this industry will touch. Maybe not how we expect, because a lot of the things, like no one expected the NFT boom, I think, so much like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, or even the NFT gaming situation. So I definitely think, okay, I think NFT gaming will continue to be a big thing. That's just the current trend. I think it's a trend that will continue. When I was like a lot younger and I was playing a lot of games and I was trading skins or trading items, like if you could own those things, that would be really big. I just think that is a natural industry that blockchain would try and eat up, especially in 20 years. I think something we haven't been able to solve is digital identity and how you verify who you are using blockchain technology, so that you don't need a passport maybe, or wherever you are, you can verify all the things you've done on chain and who you are and where you come from. And so you can give everyone like these digital rights they might not have had otherwise, because you can verify from anywhere, any place. The reason that doesn't work is because there's no one blockchain, there's no standard that people all adhere to, or countries or groups will recognize. It's just it's a very difficult problem to solve, but I think within 20 years you can probably solve it. I think obviously there's the decentralized derivatives area. I think Vega will be a humongous player in the derivative space. We will have got a lot of institutional volume. The CME might be using Vega for their transactions. All the other, like a lot of big players, and even like underserved people. So people from areas that have harder access to credit, I guess, and then they're not able to hedge against risk for the things they might need to hedge with. Like people would say farmers who need to hedge against risk for their corn in like 2025 or something, June 2025, say we're in 2024, or small farmers markets, like they want to be able to hedge for fish futures. So I think you'll start seeing markets created from these different groups of people that are from some underserved communities. And just markets for everything, markets for anything. I'm not sure what exactly will be the biggest case of Vega, but I do think that it will hopefully we've taken off the ground. And if not, someone else is doing decentralized derivatives, but hopefully we are the base layer for that, and that's the goal. But yeah, in the blockchain community, I think NFTs will continue to persist, and this will be a big theme, maybe like NFT housing, and like all digital records just become unique things that you see, that you store the data on the blockchain, everyone can see it, it's public, and if you want to verify it, you change the data that's stored there. I'm not sure what blockchain people will be using or how they will implement these systems, but if I were to look back in 20 years, I would think that you would have most records stored in that way, or at least most records that you need the people to verify from other parties, because something you can just use a centralized database for. I gave quite a lot of different predictions there, but yeah, I think also, hopefully like some countries are just using digital currencies, blockchain-based currencies, rather than like CBDCs and private. I want to see private money being a thing, perhaps. I don't know how you do that without all the regulatory rules or I don't know, but I think you'll see some countries using primarily different, like they'll be using a certain blockchain-based asset or different cryptocurrency as just their normal exchange of value. I think by 20 years time, you will see that in at least a few countries.
I heard a super interesting discussion about like the regulation and about like that. I think it was in Vega. Someone told me that he is very sure that in 20 years, most money, or maybe all money that is in circulation, is blockchain based, maybe even like Bitcoin and then like Lightning or some other technology on top. And the reason is that especially now in the next years, we probably like have a lot of inflation ahead, and Bitcoin will just do better. So more and more people just want it. And in the end, the regulations are slow, but they also reflect what the people really want. So if more and more Americans want to have Bitcoin want to trade with it and want to do these kind of things, then in this democratic process, it's slow, but it's coming. And I think there's like, like on the base from the people, there's very little resistance to blockchain, and the people that are resisting it at the moment are just the industries that are getting disrupted, and they try to push back. But the bigger force is basically that more and more people have it, more and more people want to participate, and that then probably the regulations also move in the right direction. And I think, that there's very good chance that even maybe Bitcoin as like first mover could be like some sort of like world currency, and that there's probably some centralized wallets on top of it. So I think like one very easy solution to the scaling problem is if there would be something like a Google Bitcoin wallet, and which maybe uses Lightning to send to other wallets, but Google to Google then is like without any fees and easily, and people can trust this like 500 euro, 1,000 euro, and then you have like your on-chain or different technologies for like your real savings. So I think this is I think it's a real possibility that also like on the currency track in 20 years blockchain based money will be big.
Maybe not Google, but someone.
Yeah, but like someone who's
we want it decentralized.
Yeah, someone who's the big player is like the best in to give a centralized solution, because it's not bad if it's just like a wallet. I mean, of course they track what you're doing with your money, or like there will be others, but they don't. I mean, I would trust Google 500 euro for convenience if it's easy. And
I think there might be an easier way to do it, where it's cheap and easy and reliable, and you can like verify the code, verify who's running the system without using Google. But maybe if you want to use Google, then like you can.
No, I think
go
like
ahead. Let's look back in 20 years.
Yeah, let's pick if I look stupid or you. But no, we don't know. Time will tell. Okay, yeah, that's very interesting, and I have very similar views to you. Also, you didn't touch anything that is on the, how's it called, cross section between digital and not digital assets. So I think there's a lot of projects that say we need to put real estates on the blockchain. We need to do all country governance stuff on the blockchain.
Yeah.
And there I'm a bit more critical, because in the end you need like police and real people in the real world to enforce these things. So blockchain is not that natural, like an step up in this area. Of course, it can make stuff like law and other stuff more efficient. But I think like native digital assets, as you described, like NFTs and stuff related to gaming or digital money, their derivatives and collateral in digital assets make much more sense, or like is much more likely to last than the crossover to all the blockchain projects that deal with like real world assets.
Yeah, but it works if the blockchain is a source of truth. Like if you integrate into the legal system and it shows like this house is owned by this person, and that's the source of truth. And then it's all like all the records are there and you can't change them, and you can always see it. So that's how you assign property rights, rather than doing it how it is now, where they're lost, or they're on paper, they're burned, or someone changes them, or someone just kicks you off your land and you can't verify it because you don't have the deed. If it's all in a public database, or at least a country database or something, a blockchain database.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I did.
Where Cersei Lannister and who is Littlefinger, and he says, I don't know, something, knowledge is power or something, and then she gets his guards and said kill him, and then they hold him up, and she says, see, power is power.
Power is power. Yeah.
The problem is that let's say, I'm happy that now here in my flat that I'm sitting right now in, on a blockchain says it's mine, but then the government changes. There's, I don't know, like a military revolution or whatever, and they say like all foreigners, they don't have property rights anymore. We don't care what's on the blockchain. Then they come with machine guns and they probably go out.
Yeah, they could still do that, but they would update it. They would just change it, but you would still see before, unless they just get rid of that chain and they use something else.
My point is the signature on a blockchain doesn't stop anyone to go with a machine gun into my house and tell me, look, this gun belongs now to me.
But yeah, but I that doesn't change, doesn't stop it, but it's a step up from like keeping the records in a thing you can change. Yeah. If you can see from before, maybe like this is public, and then the country invades and changes all the records, you can then other country in the world will be able to see that, and they might intervene. They might not. They might agree, but the records will be there.
Yeah, if this country has oil, then the others will intervene. If not, they will probably not intervene.
Yeah, we'll see if oil is even as big a thing in 20 years.
True,
probably is, but I don't know. The world is changing.
Okay, I think this was really a lot of fun talking to you. Let me see if I have any super smart question left on my. I think we have covered it all. Yeah, and yeah, maybe then quickly let me also remind everyone that next week is I'm not saying next week, soon. There will be the upgrade of Fairground to a new version 0.45 for everyone who follows details. And this is a big upgrade, and there's also big upgrade to our not only to the testnet but also to the wallets, and they will be HD ready, so hierarchical deterministic wallets. So basically, like with one backup key, you have all the addresses that will ever be created from the seed. And this is a big step forward, but also like everyone who's watching now and is using Fairground, this means that wallets will not work once the new version is released and new keys needs to be generated. But luckily there's no real assets on Fairground. So in this case, yeah, it's not too bad that it's not backward compatible, but that's just something to keep in mind. And then yeah, we're all looking very forward to the new version. But yeah, keep in mind that if you next week keep a look at Twitter, Discord, Telegram, wherever you're following us, there will be very detailed instructions what to do and which wallet versions, where to find them, work with the new version of Fairground. And yeah, we are a bit sorry for the inconvenience this might cause and that you might need to make changes to your backup. And yeah, we will try to avoid things like this in the future, but here it's just such a big change in how the keys work that it was like unreasonable for like testnet to try to find a migration path for this, as there's no real money at stake here. We will probably then do the next one of the next Fairground jams and showing a little bit around how to do cool new things with the new testnet. That's it so far from my end, and then I leave the last words to the man of this podcast. Jam.
Thank you. Yeah, it could be a podcast. Yeah, that's all. That's really all. Next week, this should be back to the regular time of 6 p.m. on a Thursday, British summer time or UTC +1. I see someone says hi from Thailand. Hey, wow. Tony, hope you're well. Feel free to join us in the Zoom room after this and you can have a chat. But yeah, thank you for attending. And yeah, I hope in 20 years that I'm right about everything. See you guys soon.